Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geomologist Presents. Today, we're going to start the first in our ongoing series of playing the game Coyote and Crow. Coyote and Crow, here you can see the book here. Coyote and Crow, and this is by, do you remember the author at the top of your head? Um, BJ?
It is. I wish I should know.
Here, created, written, and developed by
Oh, so
Connor
Connor
Alexander.
Alexander.
It's from the Cherokee Nation, he says. So this is the book that we're using, Coyote and Crow. And I'll have BJ explain what this game is and all, but I also have here the GM screen. And I kind of just a little bit about the GM screens, how I was like looking at GM screens. It is a pretty cool GM screen, actually. A good GM screen is a GM screen you can run the game from. Like for Hyperborea, I just use a GM screen to run the game usually. But I like this GM screen already because it has the skills. It has the skill list right here, which is very nice. And it has quick NPC generation, right, on one panel. And it has like all the abilities, like all the short description of the spirit abilities here on this panel. And BJ will explain all that stuff too, all this jargon and terminology. But what's really exciting is BJ said we can fight this giant horned snake at some point. So maybe we'll get to that. All right. BJ is going to be the GM for this series, for this Coyote and Crow series. I don't know what he has planned. Truth be told, like how many adventures or games or what we're going to do with it. But I'll leave it to him to maybe explain all that and what he has planned. And today we're going to create characters, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
I had and speaking, I did use this GM screen when I ran Coyote and Crow at a con
Yeah.
a few months ago. It's I I kind of agree with Carl. This is actually probably one of the most useful GM screen. Most of the time with the GM screen, it's got superfluous information or it's got key stuff. You're like, why did they not put that on the GM screen? Um,
Like
this seemed
skills.
to really, yeah, this seemed to really have all the stuff you actually would need to look up to run the game in the moment. So I was able to just kind of set a
That's
table
great.
and I didn't really have to touch the book very
Mhm.
often. So that was an added plus.
All right. And
Um,
we have other people here
all right.
today.
So
We have other
we've
people
done a
here today
few.
too. So do
That's
you want me
right.
to introduce them or do you want to introduce them, BJ?
Well, I think
Yeah.
let them introduce
Yep.
themselves. Who
Go
else
ahead.
do we?
Or not.
Well,
Arlen? Why don't you?
I didn't know who's Hi, I'm Arlen. I'm playing the game. I don't have a character yet, so once I have a character, I will introduce them.
All right.
And also Amy is watching on. She already has a character.
I do.
Yeah, Amy. Um,
And I'm gonna play Olata, and I played her when we tested the game, and I loved her. She's really, really adorable. I say that because I think she is, and she's very cute. But she's also got drones and does herbalism. She's not very good at performance, but she has it. But she's a good pilot. She can track. Um, she's pretty good at investigation, so she's kind of more your talky type.
Yeah.
yep.
And she is I'm looking at her little bio thing here. She is a archetype is secret path of the spider.
Yeah.
Yes, and
So, and we'll get into. Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead, Amy.
oh no, I was just scrolling through the sheet so our viewers could see the character sheet. And it's got
Oh, okay.
skills, actions, abilities, but all the other things that you will get into.
Yeah, I have no idea what you can see on your end. I can only see
Yeah, we can only see
what's on
what we
my end.
see.
So, um,
Okay.
all right. So Carl and Arlen are going to make new characters.
Yep.
Um,
There's a
and
giant
so,
behind you. Be careful. I
oh
see a
no,
giant behind
I
you.
can't blur my, I can't. Roll 20 does not allow me to blur my or
Yeah.
use a background. So,
I just saw a
um,
giant, this
yeah,
gigantic human being.
that was my kid. He's a lot taller than me now. He's very happy about that.
I
he
think
looked
all kids like that.
he doesn't look down on you, does he? Looks down on you. Yes, he does.
No.
How tall is he? He's
Six, looks like 6'4".
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, Okay, so with the Coyote and Crow, we've done a few videos and in some live play on this before. But just to, and I think it'll become more apparent as we make the characters and get into playing in the coming weeks. What the setting is really all about. As you can probably see on the main screen that I just thrown this up as a placeholder on Roll20. It's a science fantasy role playing game set in an uncolonized future. The premise is that somewhere prior to the Age of Sail, a cataclysmic event or a major event sort of kicked off another ice age, and so the Western Hemisphere has never been explored um, by Europeans, and the indigenous people of the Americas were allowed to advance uh, develop their own advanced mathematics, science, technology without outside influence, without colonization. And so this is sort of a what if the Americas had progressed, in that. And so you do get a lot of tropes of science fantasy. Um, there's monsters and mysticism along with technology. But one of the things the creator tried to do is stay as far away from things that we kind of take for granted in science fiction that are actually more associated with um, more European and Asian cultures. So like wheeled vehicles, there are no wheeled vehicles. Ranged weapons are continue to be designed off of bows and slings as opposed to what we would look at and recognize as a handgun or a rifle. And so trying to think little ways like that of how do we create a technologically advanced science fantasy type of society using what would be available uh, in North America, particularly because the setting has not really started to explore South America or Central America. We're really in North America so far. Um, and so you play characters who are enhanced. There is a process in which in the lore of the setting, most people choose to undergo it, in which they go through a almost like a Captain America kind of super soldier process where they are infused with the essence of an animal. It leaves it up to the each group to decide what's going on there. Is that magical? Is it science magic that is just looks like science? Is a little bit of both. To me, it sounds sort of like you're going through this process, and some aspects of the animal are kind of grafted into your DNA, but there's probably also some spiritual significance that well, and the question is, did you choose that animal because it was a spiritual connection you felt to the spirit of that animal, or is it just it sounded cool, but now you're kind of attached to the trace of that animal, so it kind of leaves it up to interpretation for each group, or even you can say that even within the setting, different people will debate exactly what's going on there. That said, I think things will become more apparent as we get into it. I don't have any long-term plans. I'm happy to play this as long as people are still interested. I've got a few sort of published adventures that we can get into, and I think hopefully as I get a little more comfortable doing more than just the starter set, I might be able to ad lib or start to create some of our own adventures. Or you guys may present things where I can think, aha, now there's an adventure hook that I could follow up on very easily. So we'll just see where it takes us. All right, so let's just get into character creation. That sound good?
Yeah.
So what we have is what's called in terms of the game the Adonati, and that is this um it's always associated with the color purple. It has since the this ice age has retreated. It's been found, this mark on plants and animals, and that's where if you sort of infuse yourself with the essence of that thing, you may get some of its properties. And it's said to be depending, again, some people may have a purely scientific explanation for it. It's also the book starts off with a story, a daughter hearing a story from her, or a girl hearing a story from her grandfather about a more traditional spiritual explanation for how it became to be. That's why the game is called Coyote and Crow, because the coyote and the crow as animal beings as they often appear in native stories are involved there, but it's supposed to be a gift from the creator to help people get through the trying times that they're facing right now. So, all right. So each of your heroes has been infused with the Adenati,
Okay.
and we will get to that. Let's see. Technology, characters. Here we go. I got to find the right chapter in the book.
Chapter 9.
Yeah.
Page.
A brief study of the steps involved. Choose and define a motivation. Choose an archetype. Choose your age and other identifiers. So, I mean, even with your character, since we're using a pre-gen that was kind of created for the demo adventure in the back of the book, there'll be some places where you'll still need to flesh out choices to make so it's a complete character that we can use for a campaign.
Okay.
Okay.
Pulling her up so that we can go right along with you guys.
All right, and I think
I made myself a character sheet.
We
had permission, but Arlen needs a character sheet, I think.
Yeah.
I also made myself one.
Arlen has one. I'm gonna look at this blank one so I can see where we.
Oh, okay. Oh, I only see. That's weird. I only see Halada in mine. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think when you make one, it doesn't have permissions for everybody else, just for you, basically.
Okay. That's curious.
All right, so I think when we make these characters, the first section up top. Oh, I'm trying to look at this blank one so I'm not messing with anybody else's character sheet. You got a little cogwheel next to the name where you can open it up and change the character's name, their pronouns, their age, and that's where we're going to put these first parts of the thing. So the first thing you want to pick is a motivation. Motivation is the core of the hero's behavior. They help you determine your character's relationships, the story, and so that's kind of the thing. Like, for example, Amy, I think yours was since you have a pre-gen. What is Halada's motivation?
Curiosity. Okay.
And there's a list if you guys want to look in the book, or
starting on page 125 of the book.
In fact, I can probably open that from the library so people who are watching the video can see that.
Well, Amy has to open it.
Can do that.
Oh, if I throw it up and share it, will it show on your?
Oh, if you share it, it probably will.
Yeah. So let me find it. Motivations. Okay, is there a way to? Oh, I guess it's not a note, so it would be one that one of you guys would have to open, but it's in the library. Is there any way to? No, it's just I can just pop it out or minimize it. I can't share it. But so some of the things they suggest in the book: acceptance, curiosity, family, honor, idealism, independence, order, power, control, love, wealth, status, altruism, justice, revenge, destiny, validation, heroism, vanity. So it's kind of I think it's just sort of a value, a concept, or a virtue, anything like that. So you guys have any thoughts on what you want to make your motivations for your characters?
You have an idea, Arlen?
Well, Amy already took mine, so
it could be the same.
No, it's okay. I'm going to choose wealth for mine, I think, because I think that is an interesting deviation from the sort of character that I normally play.
Oh,
all right. And I'll also be interested to see how we deal with someone seeking wealth in a society where wealth is not really defined in sort of the same way as we tend to think of wealth, because in the setting for Coyote and Crow, wealth, it is sort of a kind of a post-scarcity, if you need food, you get food. If you need shelter, you get shelter. And so wealth, I think, will probably come much more in terms of status, influence, social importance.
I didn't even see wealth is in
like
there.
That, so.
Oh, there it is. I guess there is. It says it says money though.
Well, it says things and money, so maybe it's
things and money. So
things and money.
Barter
Yeah.
economy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And
We'll
for
have to explore
me,
how that plays out. So,
yeah,
and
that's cool.
there is a wealth score. Everybody has a wealth score as opposed to tracking units of coinage, but that does sort of come with status and influence.
Mhm.
So as well as just, you know, liquid cash
The
resources.
hell?
Carl, what about you? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna take Destiny.
Destiny. All right.
Yeah.
You believe in a greater destiny for yourself, your tribe, or your community. It's
Yep.
your job to help bring it about or thwart it. All right. Okay. Now
Thwart
we get
it.
into probably what
Wait,
I
it says
think. Huh?
it's the GM's job to thwart it. Is that what it said?
No, it says it's your job to help bring it about or thwart it. You
Oh,
could
okay.
either have a
Oh,
vision
right. It
for
could
where
be
you
a.
think things should be, or you could have
Right.
this vision of doom that you're trying to prevent.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I don't know what my age is going to be yet. But I guess we're under archetype, right? And then we'll do the other stuff. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Archetype.
Archetypes. So there are the archetypes are warrior, scout, tinkerer, healer, seeker, and the seeker is uses perception. Seekers range from detectives to philosophers to sociologists to bounty hunters. So, you know, you're good at finding things or figuring things out.
That's what Olata is.
There's also a whisperer. Yeah, whisperer is a charismatic character. Whisperers make their way through their charm or force of will. It could be an artist, a politician, an entertainer, anybody who works on influencing others.
Okay.
Each archetype also has a key role.
Mhm.
So, for example, the warrior's key role, trail defender. And it's not the only thing a warrior can do. It's just sort of an example, I think. Here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that just an example, or is that what they are? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't mechanically do anything. I think it's just giving you an idea of like what they could be.
Okay. All right.
This is whatever your character does for a job. It doesn't affect game mechanics, but your archetype choice is a permanent one-time thing that you'll choose at creation. Each archetype gives character a focus on a particular stat. So the warrior focuses on strength, the scout on agility, the tinker on intelligence, the seeker on perception, the healer on spirit, and the whisperer on charisma. And so it gives them, these are just examples. So one role for a warrior would be like a trail defender, affects travelers along travel routes. Key roles for a scout, seed keeper. These people travel extensive lengths and sometimes face great physical dangers in their attempts to find, rescue, and preserve endangered strains of plants. So we are coming out of an ice age. In fact, most of what we would consider in North America, Canada, part of the northern states, and much of the Rockies are still under a glacier. So, you know, protecting, harvesting seeds and plant life as they come out of it it could be important. But that's just an example.
Okay.
So what are you guys thinking on your archetypes?
So your motivation is wealth, Arlen, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So my motivation is destiny. Can I pick first, or do you want me to? Or do you want to pick? And Amy's a seeker, right? Amy's character is a seeker.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go warrior.
Okay.
Let me double check. I'm going to be a whisperer.
Sounds good. Okay. All right. So then it asks,
So where do we put the key role, or does it?
that's just an example. You don't have to again, that's just sort of talking about one way that kind of archetype plays out in the setting.
Are there other lists for examples of key roles somewhere? Or?
No, I don't think.
Hmm.
But if you think about your motivation and your motivation and your archetype fit together, then again you get a little bit of a fleshed out, like a warrior who feels like it's destiny to do something that a warrior would do. A whisperer who uses a lot of charisma and feels like their motivation is wealth. That fits well together. All right. Other things they ask you to ask, your age. You can really be of any age, and no age has ever been defined, Amy, for Alada. So you could. It does mention she's the oldest of 6 kids, and I think in the original party of Phrygians, her younger sister is one of the other player characters.
I think she'd probably be about 20.
Okay.
Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think that this community would be like our community where we figure once a woman's of a certain age, she's too old to be a young lady and she's a woman. So I think Olata's kind of right there in that
Yeah.
time there.
Yeah. Age doesn't really affect any of your stats or your kind of abilities in adventure. It just socially it might come up in role playing if you're seen as a young person or an old person or
She's kind of
real. What about you guys, Arlen and Carl?
I don't know. I'll say 23 sounds good for me.
Okay.
I will just say, broad 20s, mid 20s.
Mid 20s. Okay. And then you are allowed to define your gender, however you see fit.
Okay. All right.
It's
What's
interesting.
next?
I need to go back and look. Along with gender, if you want to define a sexual orientation, that's you can do that as well. I don't know that that's actually on the. I guess that would be under those other identifiers. You've got
Yeah.
pronouns, age, motivation, archetype, and those other identifiers. And miscellaneous, if there's anything else you feel is really distinguished about your character that you want to put on those other identifiers.
All right. Well, there's like age, tribe. We're all from this one place, right?
Yeah, Cahokia. Cahokia.
So what's that? Is there a tribe that's associated with that, or is it just
No, I think in the game he said if you're like if you are as a player or an actual indigenous person, you can drop a name of your tribe in there.
Mhm.
If not, you can use the just kind of generic.
Okay. All right. Is there like a list of names in here, or
There,
can we wait till the
I
end?
think.
Can we wait till the
Yeah,
end?
we wait to the end. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And so now we have the paths, and this is probably this is the it's a one-time choice you make for your character, and it represents the type of ceremony they go through as they pass into adulthood, and also would be what gets unlocked when they receive the Aranati. And so they've got several listed here, and what they did, those will also boost your ability scores. Which reminds me, for Carl, you can go ahead as a warrior and add 1 to your strength, and Arlen as a whisperer, you can add 1 to your charisma. So there's a little cogwheel down in the bottom right of the little section around the attributes.
Okay, got it. And just add one. Just put modifier +1. Is that what we do?
Well, if you click
Yeah,
on the little cogwheel, you can
Mhm.
actually increase the base. It'll pop
Uh,
up.
Okay, got it.
You can do that.
Done. Nice. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then depending on which path you take, it's going to increase 2 more ability scores.
Ooh, okay.
So there's the path of the eagle, the path of the bison,
Oh,
the
so
path
now
of
I'm
the
like,
beaver, the path
all
of the coyote, fox, the owl, the badger, the deer, the spider, the falcon, the snake, the crow, the salmon, the bear, and the raccoon. We can probably choose a similar animal if none of those are to your liking.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like well now I'm like torn. I was gonna go like definitely Path of the Bison, but like, oh man, eagle. But
Yeah, the eagle's pretty good.
I think bison might be better because the will seems to like say to me destiny, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do Path of the Bison, I believe.
Okay. So that means you get to strength and bump your strength and is it by 1 or 2? Let me make sure I read that correctly. It says related stat. It doesn't say. Does it say you boost your stat?
Yeah. Each path affects 2 stats, granting a bonus point to each at character creation.
Okay.
Additionally, when you reach the ability step, you can choose a single ability from one of the path's related stats.
Okay. All right. That's how it works.
All right.
Arlen, which one are you gonna?
I am going to choose the raccoon.
Oh, Arlen, did you notice the bear also has strength? It's charisma and strength.
Yeah, but I want to be the raccoon.
I'm sorry, not Arlen. Carl.
Which one?
The bear is charisma and strength.
Oh, but I don't know. Something about a bison to me.
All right. You're going to teach lessons of humility to tourists at the park.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Mhm.
Every
Right.
I saw on every Instagram that I filmed.
I don't know if you
yes.
guys follow the National Park Service
Tourons of
on social media, but they routinely post really funny stuff. And one of them I saw recently was famous last words, tourist famous last words. If not friend, why friend shaped?
Yep.
yeah. Wow.
All right.
Yeah, it's crazy. People, I mean, obviously, like a lot of the animals in national parks see humans often enough to not like immediately react badly. And then tourists will just be like, oh, yeah, because they didn't react immediately badly, they must be just like a pet. You know, people leaning out, rolling down their windows to try to pet the bison in Yellowstone. It's like, dumbass, what? Like,
yeah, I followed. I guess this is a funny aside in our recording here, but like Tourons of Yellowstone is hilarious because it's not just bison they go up to. They go up to bear. They go up to moose, and even I've seen people go up to with they don't call them kids, but moose with calves, which is
oh my.
Yeah.
And moose calf is probably big enough to.
No, but like,
Yeah,
I know, but they want to take a picture with the calf, but like the mama moose is nearby, and
that happened once when my wife and I took a trip. We were in Colorado at Rocky Mountain National Park, and there was the elk were coming into ruts, so there were people stopped everywhere taking a picture of elk. But there was this big, long, like we waited cars, and so I was like, I'm gonna walk up and see what the holdup is. So she and I walked up there, and there was a moose trying to cross the road to get to the water, and there was this guy. He must have had a $3,500 setup on his camera trying to take pictures of it, and there was a ranger. There are different categories of rangers. Only one of them is actual law enforcement. The other ones are just sort of like guides and like, they don't have it's whatever the lowest ranking type of ranger was. She was like, "Sir, you're aggravating the animal. Please back off." And he was like, "My taxes pay for this park. I'll do whatever." And I'm like, I think the moose is about to settle this himself because it was starting to grunt at him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she
Yeah.
was
Oh,
on the
no.
radio calling for one of the rangers that could actually come like have legal authority. And I was like, I finally backed off, but I was like, yeah, I think the moose is gonna settle this in a minute if you
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
That's okay. So when I was, I don't remember, like 12 or 13, my family did a really big trip going to a whole bunch of national parks, starting in Glacier and then heading basically south and then kind of southwest to go through like Yellowstone and Grand Tetons and then to a lot of the ones in like, Utah and then all the way eventually to the Grand Canyon and then back home. And that was one of the like core things that my mom says about the trip is her sense of relief when the "do not feed the animals" signs had chipmunks instead of bears on them. That was like a definitive pass through point that okay, we're
Yeah.
no longer in bear country.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I have an interesting animal story too, since I guess we're on interesting animal stories. So,
Yeah.
so I go hiking up into the Waimanuchi Wilderness, San Juan National Forest in Colorado, and there's this amazing view that we had one time when we were up in the mountains. We're like, oh, we're gonna camp here, and we look over like down the cliff into like this valley, and there's like herds of elk, right? Herds of elk. I'm like, wow, it's crazy because it's hunting season. What are they doing? And then later on in the hike, we ran into some hunt. We took pictures, of course, and later on, we ran into some hunters, and they go, "Oh yeah, elk are pretty smart. They know what parcels have the hunting leases somehow, and they all go to the ones that don't and are restricted."
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty funny. So,
Yeah.
okay,
All right.
Path of the Bison, strength and will for me, which
Okay.
is different than wisdom. Okay, I gotta remember that.
Okay.
It's kind of a lot of stats. This game.
Yeah, they've got
we were my son and his friends when we played D&D a few weeks ago. We were playing and this kid kept going, "Can I make an insight check? Can I make an insight check?" And I'm like, "We don't. What are you talking about? We're playing like OSE." He saw Ian intuition check, and I was like, "What are you talking?" And he was looking at the INT on his character sheet for intelligence,
Oh wow.
forgetting that it stood for intelligence.
Yeah, yeah.
classic.
You kind of would use intelligence in D&D to do that, but then it started getting kind of off base, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, okay, so you got the next three character points. This is where
Oh,
we're going to spend our character points. So you've chosen a path, and so you receive your starting character points. You get
Okay.
5 points for gifts and burdens.
Oh, what are those? Okay.
So the
I
first
see
thing
what
we're going
that-
to pick
yeah,
are
the start on-
gifts. And they can be 1, 2. They 1 point, 2 point. Let me see here. But if you don't spend them all, you can roll those over into points for stats and skills.
Oh, there's like 10 of them. Okay, on page 136.
Yeah. Or if you want to you can come up with another, type if you want.
Yeah, I wonder if
Sometimes gifts become burdens depending on the context, right? But the thing is, you can take a clear burden to gain another point to add into your gifts. The thing is, you've got to one way or the other, you're going to have to spend them all. So
right.
gifts come in levels. A level 1 is a mild or trivial. Level 2 is serious,
Okay.
consistent or important. Level 3 is a constant, pervasive, or critical. And I think Halata actually has a level 2 gift and a level 1 burden, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
You
where to
click
look for that.
on. They are on
Belongings.
your story, I believe.
Story.
Yeah.
Your story.
It's the second section.
Says I haven't set a short or long term goal yet. That's all it says.
No,
Okay.
underneath. Keep going.
Okay.
Scroll down.
Gifts and burdens. So she has a blessing, a gift from Judge of Character. The first time Olata makes a coercion, charm, deception, or investigation check against another person. The difficulty is reduced by 1. And she has family, which is a burden. Olata must make a successful will check as a secondary action anytime that Jaya is in danger. I think that's her sister. And
Yep.
Olata wishes
Yeah.
to do something other than protect her.
And I think if we tally up all the stats on this character, that she would have spent 2 points on that gift, and then gotten a point back for the burden. So, and then those other 4 points probably went into her stats and skills.
Okay. You can hold off on those, or then give some. You can, if you have points left over when you finish choosing gifts and birds, you add them to skills. Okay, to a stat or your skills. Okay. Yeah, I think I like to do like a gift and a burden, I think.
Yeah, this
What
is
are
one
these?
where we'll have to kind of fly,
Yeah, maybe
probably
pause.
flesh out a little bit.
Maybe pause it, and then we'll come back and say what our gifts or burdens are.
Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Alrighty, sounds good. Give me just a second. And while I'm getting to this point, I think our viewers could hit that like button. And also, in the meantime, subscribe.
Yep.
And pause.
Okay, after a pause. So, Carl, why don't you tell us the gifts and burdens you've taken for your character?
Yes, I think just because he feels he has a destiny, and there is a cool picture actually in the book that everyone said, "Oh, look, that's your character," and it inspired me. It's on page 139 in the book where there's a um, the hero with a buffalo spirit behind him. So I have a connection to I'm going to call it I see the great buffalo. So it's a level 2 spiritual connection. He feels he has a destiny, whether it's delusional or not is yet to be seen. So I think he also I gave him a notoriety. He's a big dude. He was probably a defenseman or something in this in maybe some of the lower level stickballer leagues. So he's a famous stickballer, at least locally. So I gave him notoriety at level 1. And he can call on his ex-ballers for help. So I gave him ex-teammates as allies. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, who knows? Maybe they could cause trouble. I'm trying to give the GM some adventure hooks. However,
Okay.
because he talks about his destiny all the time, but his family are skeptical of what he's all about. Perhaps they want him to stay in the family business, whatever that might be. Maybe it's opposed to his dreams of becoming a warrior and a defender of the trails and
I
opening
got
up.
an idea. Maybe they wanted him to stick with sports
Oh,
and
right.
continue to excel as
Okay.
an athlete, and he chose this path of becoming,
Yeah.
the
Remind him of his
an
career
adventurer,
choices.
or the sorry.
Yeah. All right.
The
Once a famous
Suyata,
stickballer,
the
you never get away from it.
Suyata are like the the kind of marshals,
Yeah.
law enforcement
Mm-hmm. Right.
agents. So
like, yeah, why do you want to waste your time as a Suyata? You're going to get yourself hurt or killed. They're all skeptical about it. Yeah, they kind of hinder his career choice and change. They could be foils. Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Yeah, there could be some connection with Arlen's character because sports is about wealth and gambling.
You cost him a lot of money. You walked away when he.
Cool. All right. Well, those are mine. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4. But I took a burden, so that's so I have 2 points left over. Is that correct? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
2 points left over.
Arlen, what have you got?
For my
Gifts
and burdens. So I have a financial gift at level 2 that I call Deep Pockets, because it doesn't actually give you any money. It just makes your money more effective, basically, which I thought was fun. Seems like that's good for the guy who's interested in wealth. I have a 1-up gift for animal charisma, because I also thought that would be fun. And I have a 1 burden for disbeliever, because I'm doubtful of the spirit realms.
Okay.
Interesting. That could be a fun interaction between mine and Arlen's character. Also, there's going to be raccoons following us. Is that what you're saying? All over the place?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not that many raccoons.
Only
Cool.
near the
All right.
garbage cans.
All right.
And
What about Halada? Yeah.
yeah, Amy, why don't you remind us what Halada's gift and burden are?
Alrighty, I'm pulling it up. We adjusted hers a little bit. So her gift is Judge a Character, level 2. The first time Alata makes a coercion, charm, deception, or investigation check against another person, the difficulty is reduced by 1. And her burden is that Olata must make a successful will check as a secondary action anytime that her allies are in danger and Olata wishes to do something other than protect them.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Right.
So basically, she's like the big sister and she sees them as her wards, I guess. Even though she's the youngest one out of the group, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe I should change her age and age her up some.
If you would like to, you could. If you want to.
I mean, I'll still keep her as the youngest, but
Okay.
see,
All right.
24.
So Carl, you have 2 points, and Arlen, you have how many points?
I have a 2 points spent out of 5.
You have 3 left.
Essentially 3 left over.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Carl, you have 2 left. All right, so now we move on to stats.
Okay.
And I think you bank those unspent one for your skills, right?
Yes. For skills, it says.
So okay, so we'll come back to those when we get to skills. But you've got 42 points to spend on your stats.
Wow.
But we have 9 stats, so they go quick.
And
The average person is a 2 or 3 in most stats. It should be noted that the effects of the Adenati can boost stats above 5. So those associated with your path.
Your path, yeah.
Those can go above 5, but otherwise they're maxed out at 5.
And the cost increases per point too, right?
Yes,
Oh.
stat. If it's to get a stat to 1, that's 0. Well, they're all defaulted to 1. It's 3 points to go to 2, 6 points to go to 3, 10 points to go to 4, 15 to go to 5.
So is it additive? So it would be 31 points to go to like.
No, this
Okay.
is just while you're creating your character.
Okay. So I have another question. So my base is 3 for strength. So could I spend 15 points and it becomes an 8? Is that correct?
I believe so.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Bear in mind, though, your defenses, your body, mind, and soul defenses are sort of an aggregate of the 3 physical, mental, and spiritual abilities. So if you try to dump stat everything, you're going to be in trouble.
I remember you have to balance.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Okay. All right. You got 9 stats. Okay, this should be interesting. All right. Well, I guess we're going to pause again and then get to that.
We'll see you in just a second. Paused.
Okay, let's take a look at after that brief pause. Let's take a look at our abilities and skills. So, Arlen, why don't you tell us a little bit about where your skills and or attributes, I guess they're called, shake out.
All right. So I have got basically low attributes in all of the body stuff. middling in all the mind stuff, and a really high charisma. And so that's my character's thing. And then for skills, I have
What kind of
ranks. Hmm? Oh,
For your skills?
yeah. So for
Get out
skills,
there,
I
Mr.
have. Oh, BJ.
You were saying something, and then
Okay. Um.
Oh,
Yes.
when I move your character sheet, does it move your character sheet? Do I need to start doing that?
No, I just keep
Sorry.
hearing you. Sounds like you're starting to say something, and then it's like it cuts out.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm moving his character sheet while he's talking about it.
Anyway, so I put points into basically all of those charisma skills and a couple of other things. So like I have a little bit of computers and a little bit of crafting and a little bit of investigation and more than a little bit of medicine. But otherwise, oh, and some skullduggery. But otherwise it's a lot of charisma stuff basically for this character.
Cool. BJ, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, I thought you guys were blanking out me on my end. All right, Carl, what do you got for your character?
For my character, I concentrated on body, so I have a good strength and endurance. I put at least 1 point in everything, and then I went back and added more points to my the foci, right? So since I had 2 points in strength, that kind of give me a rebate in bumping his strength up uh to 5. He's a big dude. I imagine my PC when I name him is a big guy. Um, so strong in body, pretty good in soul because of the spiritual connection, and he's willful. And then middling, I guess, in mind, though not so bad. He's got like a 7. So although it seems like his soul is I don't know what all these things are. Like I guess PD is physical defense, MD is mental defense, SD is spiritual defense. Is that correct? And then body, mind, and soul, that's like your hit
Yep.
points.
Yep.
So what is that other thing? -5, 6, and 4. What is that? Like it says body current, mind current, soul current. Is that should be higher or what?
Oh, that's your current. Let's see. If you click long, let me click long. Yeah, click a long rest, and it should go up to a couple times, and it should go up to full. For some reason, it didn't start. It didn't automatically give you your full. But yeah, just click long rest a couple times, and it should push them all up to full. Okay, cool. Amy, you want to remind us on Halata a little bit about her attributes and skills?
Sure. Holata is your 24-year-old brainiac. I guess you could say she's really into computers and drones. She's got a little bit in art, not much. She's kind of more computer centered. She can cook, but most likely is going to burn your toast. She's got a lot in cybernetics, deception. She can kind of farm, but not entirely. She's very investigative. Um, she pilots drones. She can deal with ranged weapons. She's got a little bit in tracking. So she'll find you if you're out there, hopefully.
Yeah.
Then for me, skills, right?
I'm sorry?
I didn't talk about my skills.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What skills? Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. So I picked
Go
up
ahead, Carl.
I kind of took advantage. I don't know but I have like a way in mind of how I'm thinking my character. So I gave him some specializations, which is just an extra point, it seems. Is that right? Or did I do that wrong? If I did that wrong, I got to redo everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, you're fine.
Yep. So for athletics,
Go back and double check it later. You can, but
yeah, I don't know. For athletics, I gave him a little bit of art. So there's some things that had spirit. I kind of that had spirit as a thing. I gave him, although I guess spirit and will are the same in that one. But so I gave him a little bit of art because I'll tell you why in a second. But athletics, and his specialization is stickball. Took some ceremony because he's trying to be spiritual because of his destiny. Um, he's a big man, so maybe somewhere along the line he had to, intimidate people. So I put something in coercion. I don't know why I gave him a. I should not have given him a. I can't think. I don't know why I gave him a specialization there. I gotta get rid of that.
Okay, you get a point back somewhere.
I get a point back somewhere. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So then, yeah, I have to look to see what I want there. That could give me another. Maybe sometimes he tries to be nice, so I'll give him a rank in charm. All right,
Okay.
that works out. All right, so and then he has some computers because you just can't get by without it. And then I gave him some crafting, and he's going to be crafting war clubs. That's why I did the art thing too, because they're going to. I saw some cool pictures
All
in
right.
the book of the war clubs.
Yeah.
So yeah, he wants to make it look nice. I'll get to some other things later. So he's got some herbalism, just for doing stuff out in the field. He's got some medicine just in case. His specialty is melee weapons, and of course the war club. So he's going to be a melee guy, but he did take some. I took some performance because that kind of makes sense with him being a former athlete. And then I did take a ranged weapon, magbow, because you got to be versatile in the combat-y thing. A little bit of stealth, some survival, some tracking, and then unarmed combat was a specialty in wrestling. So, because that seemed to make sense for him. So there you go. My skills.
We move on to the abilities, which are the superhuman powers you have associated with your Donati or your path. So they are broken down by each stat. They've got a name. Feel free to rename them if you want to have that more reflect your particular animal that represents your path. So there are like strength. Power of the bear increases your strength with a will check. That's a strength related to warrior's fire, upgraded damage. Some spirit ones, walk the black, travel the spirit form with a will if you make a will check. Charisma, Coyote's gaze, imposed empathic connection with charisma or perception check. So,
Right.
do we need to take another brief pause on the recording?
No, I think I'm ready for mine.
Okay, you ready?
Or that's under
All right.
abilities, right? You get one,
What do you
right?
got?
You get one. Is that right? You just get one, right?
Each player starts out with one ability from their chosen path.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I'm gonna
The
take.
ability can be chosen from either of their path related stats.
Well, I'm gonna take. It's called Skin of the Armadillo, but I'm gonna call it Toughness of the Bison.
Yeah.
I saw the rage thing, but I didn't think that would.
Thick hide. Yeah.
Yeah, thick hide. Hey,
I think when we played that at the con, you had that warrior's fire, right?
Yeah, I think so. So this is strength, right?
Yeah.
So I roll strength. Oh, I say endurance. It said endurance. So strength.
So you're taking skin of the armadillo.
Skin of the armadillo.
You'll make a
charisma check. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you make a charisma check, and on a success, it increases your physical defense.
Yep. And it costs one activation or no?
What did you pick, Arlen?
So I got it's called the Deer's Smile, but I renamed it to the Trash Panda Smile for my raccoon. And it basically calms people and prevents them from, well, it doesn't totally prevent them, but they have to pass a will check with more successes than mine if they want to do violent actions, and it also makes them more vulnerable to being coerced or deceived.
Okay.
But because it's a subtle version of like social mental control, it's not as bad as the other one, which is apparently very off limits.
Which one is that?
It's
Talking about
the
charm person from D&D.
it's the coyote's gaze that works a lot like charm person in that it's like,
Yeah.
you take control and they have to do what you want, sort of thing.
Okay. And then Amy, what is Holada's power?
It's
Ability.
quiet mind. By assuming a meditative state and taking no other actions, a character may focus their mind and apply incredible potency.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
There
think
we go.
it helped with some stuff, right?
Mhm.
No, like it would give her extra bonus on her rolls or something like that. If I remember correctly when she played it before.
Okay, we are,
Here it is.
I
I put it off to the
think,
side
almost
here.
to the end here.
Yeah.
So Carl, we did delay your family related burden just until we fleshed your character out a little more.
Yeah.
I think you'd said something about your family doesn't really believe in your kind of spiritual
Journey.
You've chosen this spiritual journey and kind of abandoned your career as a professional athlete.
Hmm.
Okay. So typically we need to formulate a reason for kind of how that plays out mechanically. But do you have any thoughts, or do we want to circle back around to that again later? We still have a few more steps to get through here.
Right. Yeah, how is that going to affect him? Like usually, like you have to roll something to avoid it. Is that correct? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it's like when a situation comes up where there's like with Amy's character, she has to make a willpower not to just automatically protect people she cares about. Focus on if other things are what she needs to focus on.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to be something like either challenge his spirit or his will.
Okay, well, let's think about it a little more so
Yeah.
we can get through these other
Or else he's gonna have
steps.
like a nagging. I mean, it could be something. I mean, I don't know how hard this would be. This would not hard, but how harsh this would be. Like he at the beginning of an adventure, every time he's gonna go out, he's gonna get reminded by someone in his family that he shouldn't do that. He should go back to stickball or whatever. So either a spirit or will to see if he suffers minuses to skills until he can recover from that self-doubt, something like that. I mean, it could be a -1 across the board. I don't mind. I think that's a good one. And definitely make it a burden, right?
Okay, all right.
And then he has to do that daily until he can recover. So he's going to be at a loss, having that nagging doubt in his head. Should I be out here, etc. Right?
Okay,
Something like that.
all right. Starting equipment. So we've got your starting equipment, your derived stats automatically got calculated for you on the
Yep.
character sheet.
Hmm.
Background is where you sort of just create a little narrative about where your character comes from, and then initial goals. So let's go with goals because that's kind of interesting, and then you guys can probably get your equipment put together kind of on your own.
Okay.
Let me slip over to the chapter on goals.
Trying to remember where they
Real
are
quick.
on the sheet here.
It's chapter 11 in the book, and
I
on
think
the
they're
sheet,
they're
it's
on
under
your
your story.
story. Yeah, your story.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And so
you can
it
even
recommends characters have. Sorry, Carl. Carl, go ahead.
no. There's even a place for states and effects. So that I bet you I can look that up, and it probably gives you a -1 to skills using X, something like that. I'm sure. State or effects. I'll have to look that up. But okay. And then belongings
Okay.
where you put our stuff. Oh, wealth rank 4. Okay, so we can get stuff from 4 below. Is that right? That means okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
So In terms of goals, that you want to have 2 short-term goals and 1 long-term goal.
Okay.
A short-term goal is really how you improve your skills.
Mhm.
Whenever you, I mean, it is, let's see, improving a skill or obtaining a piece of equipment without making a wealth check. So those can be your those can be short-term goal can be one of those things.
What page is that on?
You can take one of
250.
each. We take both. That's on page 250 and 251.
Now, I don't have the rule book popping up for me.
Yeah.
But let me pause the recording while we look these up, and then we'll be right back.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay, so we have our short-term and long-term goals. Generally, a short-term goal for a character, the game asks you to have two going on at once. That can be to attain a skill you don't have, or improve an existing skill, or trying to obtain some sort of equipment or piece of or gear that is beyond your capacity given your wealth. And then long-term goals can be gaining an actual new, special ability, gaining a new gift or improving a gift you've got, lessening or eliminating a burden, or trying to increase one of your core stats. So, Arlen, what did you pick for your short-term and long-term goals?
Okay, so for my short-term goals, the first one I picked was learn to cook to go from 0 to 1 for cooking for a skill, because that seems good. And then the second one, I realized I thought that when it said husbandry as a skill, that meant more like, ranching and stuff. And it apparently is broadly just interacting with animals. And I didn't want to recalculate my skills. So I have learned to animal husbandry as my other short-term goal, since I already have a bonus with interacting with animals. And then my long-term goal is to toughen up to raise my endurance from 2 to 3.
All right. You want to go, Amy, and then I'll go? Or?
Doesn't matter. You can go first.
Okay. So I want to fashion the perfect war club, and I have a really good crafting skill, but I want to perfect the art. It needs to be a piece of art as well as a weapon of war. So I'm going to try to increase my art skill to do that as a short-term goal. The second one is to fight better. This one will probably take a little longer since I do want to improve my melee just all around. And then finally, my long-term goal is to embrace the path to get another ability in my gain another ability in my path of the bison.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Olatas are learn to
All
be a
right.
better pilot.
So,
Oh. Well, Amy's gonna do hers.
yeah, go ahead.
So learn to be a better pilot. So she needs to take her
Sorry,
piloting
I
up.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. Her next one is to get a military drone, and that's because she can't afford it. And the last one would be to be the best drone pilot, so gaining notoriety, which is a new skill for her.
Okay. All right. So last thing, we need to name our characters.
Is there a
Well, at least
name?
Carl and Arlen do. I just put a name. There's a Coyote and Crow name generator. I just linked it in the chat box in Roll 20.
All right.
If you
Okay.
want to generate a random one.
Sounds
Cool.
like fun.
I will try to do that.
And we'll do is let you guys kind of gather your equipment, kind of off camera. That's
Right.
shopping can be kind of boring.
Mhm.
I do want to know with you guys though, do you have a preference for kind of so Halada in the previous adventures established as one of the Suyata, who are again kind of the law enforcement, government agents, investigators, troubleshooters in the society of Cahokia. Do you guys just want to fall in with that and say that's what you guys are doing, or do you want to have other reasons where you're drawn together as companions or friends or associates?
Yeah, what do we want to do?
Arlen, do you care?
I don't. I mean, the easy one is the agents, right? I mean, but that's the easier one.
Yeah, there's always reasons to send a, get assignments and do investigations and things like that.
Yeah. And where'd you get that?
That certainly works for me,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
Do you use your random character name generator, Carl?
Yes, I did. Wakasi. I just gotta find a good picture.
I thought
Guess
that
I
was
could
one
use.
in the book.
I guess I could use that one in the book, but it doesn't really match the style that Halada is. So I could probably use a picture from that quick start, right?
Yeah.
The one for the fighter type that probably works. So I'll probably do that.
You don't have to match Olata's.
I like matching the styles. It's weird. It's just a thing. And players fight me on that all the time for some reason.
So is there
But wanting all our tokens to match.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So does that complete all of it, or is there something else we need to look at, or?
I would see if there's any notes just on playing of what it's gonna. I mean, we'll get into the dice mechanics as we start to play. This is intended to be a very narrative style game, so danger, injury, but not like, I mean, your characters could die, but not, not. It's not a highly lethal game unless you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if there are any other pointers we want to do, and we may just highlight those as when we come back in a couple weeks and start playing.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys can equip yourself. If you are Sayata, there is in the through the equipment list, there is what's called the Sayata kit. That is a small pack filled with a variety of common travel and survival gear that would be kind of ubiquitous for you. And then Sayata armor, which is a sort of it's kind of a bodysuit you can wear under normal clothing that gives a bonus to your
Okay, she has.
it
She
depends
has
if that's what you want
Suyata.
to choose for armor. So
She has that already for armor, and she has.
yeah,
a
it has the
Suyata
equipment
kit.
that came with as a pre-gen. So yeah, so if you guys,
She's good
yeah,
with all
so
that.
I was just going to draw your guys' attention to that. But yeah, but if there's other stuff you want,
Okay.
anything within your well score, I think Wakasi and Halata are at a 4, and Fifthly is at a 6. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm at a 4. Yeah.
The financial
Is that
boost
what your gift does? Is
works
it
in an
increase
odd
your rank?
way. Yeah, so it doesn't increase your rank, it lowers
Okay.
your target number, or the success
Okay,
number.
so if you got to roll for something.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I can't
Right.
buy super more expensive things, but I have a better odds of making it, basically.
Okay. All right. Well, and then off camera, we'll let you guys equip up and
Right.
get your character art and tokens. So when we come back next time, and I will put together I'll go through my catalog of adventures and find one for us to jump into.
Well, thank you
Okay.
for walking us through how to make the character.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Looking forward to a little more long-term play. I've done we're in 2
that'd be
different
good.
groups through the opening kind of starter adventure, so I'll be happy to see where we go with just kind of an open-ended campaign.
Sounds
Mhm.
good.
I think
to
you guys
me.
came up with some really interesting character goals that'll help kind of drive, how you make choices and how we venture off on little side quests and tangents and things like that. So this will be great.
Well, cool.
Well, thank you. And Carl, do you want to say the phrase?
No, you can't.
Good night and good rolling. And